What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Gabos, and we back with another one. I don't know if you guys know too much about Candace Owens, but this is a very dope conversation. One of my subscribers actually shared this with me. I just want you guys to listen to this conversation. This shit is wicked. Let's get to it. Oh yeah, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal.
As a last topic about the LGBTQRSTUVWXYNZ agenda.
The agenda? That sounds so nefarious.
It is agenda. It is agenda. When you start, trying to get policies placed into school that allows teachers to call your child by a different gender, and as a parent, they're not required to tell you. They could be calling your little boy Samantha all day at school, and they don't have to tell you. That's an agenda, right? When you start trying to systemize it, to make it systemic, it becomes an agenda. And when you see how vicious that lobby has become, particularly the trans, I've said, like, you had me at the LGB, lost me at the T.
Why the T?
The T, because that's when you started telling people they were bigots because they don't want to play the crazy game. So here's my point. I think trans is a mental disorder. I think there's tons, gender dysphoria is a mental disorder. There's tons of mental disorders out there. There are people that walk around down the street and think they are Superman. Think they have powers and they can fly and they're Batman. And I would never want to see that person attacked. I grew up in a family where one of my uncles had severe mental disorders and thought he was like Indian from a tribe or something. Kind of got it because he was in solitary confinement for too long and he actually went crazy in prison. So I've always been.
Ooh, like, she's touching on some shit right here. She says she doesn't believe in trans because she believes it's a mental disorder. Now, oh my gosh, this conversation comes up all the damn time. And leave in the comment section below what you think about these conversations, because I honestly believe that they have to be had. Because you, on one side of the spectrum, we want to learn to accept people for who they are, regardless of whatever they got going on. Like, when we look at them, we want to accept them as humans. But then you have people on the other end that's like, yo, I know there are men and women. There are boys and girls. Those are the only two sexes we identify. All this other stuff that you want us to start accepting, it's like, yo, we'll accept you for what you are, but you're not going to try to convince me that I got to start looking at you differently. That's just not going to happen. So there we have the war. Let's carry on.
Sensitive to people that have, mental disorders. But when you start saying in society that you now have to pretend that Candace's uncle is an Indian, and if you don't, acknowledge him as Pocahontas, then you're a bigot. That's wrong. Now you're putting the pressure on me to not just be, accepting of this, but now to play the crazy game and to say, if you mispronounce and you don't call him Chief Pocahontas, then you're a bigot. Yeah. I don't play that game. I'm like, I'm going to live in reality. You cannot live in reality. You can say how you feel. You can say what you think you see. You can say that you think that, we're on Mars right now, but I'm not going to pretend that I see Mars because it makes you more comfortable.
So I would, obviously I disagree.
That's a good point. He could disagree all he wants, but that's a good point. Like, at the end of the day, like, scientifically proven facts, just facts. We're just gonna call it what it is. Like, I could accept the fact that you want to change your life and change your body, but I shouldn't have to play this game where I now have to identify you as trans. It's a good point.
Harry Tubman is there are people.
Harry Tubman. Oh yeah.
You're with the L and the G and the B. There are people who, 30 years ago would have made the exact same arguments against you for the L, the G, and the B. They would have said that there's scientific data, that these are people who have mental disorders. There's some misalignment between what they desire and what they're supposed to. That there's some kind of gender thing going on that they're confused about. I think that we have to do a few things. For me, I think the easy part, and this is the part I think you and I agree on, is that we have to accept, and we should accept people as they present themselves in the world, right? Like, if someone says my pronouns are, if I told you my pronouns were she, her, you would address me as she and her, right?
No. What are you talking about? Yo. What are we talking about here? Like, what? And I think he's mistaking her point. No, if you want to change your life, if you want to change your body, this, that, and the third, I'll accept it. I'll respect it. It is what it is. What you do with your personal life isn't none of my business. But the moment you start to tell me that I now have to identify you as such, we got a problem. Because it's like, I get what she's saying. She's using the word crazy and mental illness, whatever word you want to use. I don't want to come across as rude. But yo, listen, I live in a factual based world, bro. You're clearly a man, and you're trying to convince me that you're a woman. Let's carry on.
Right?
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
No, I would call you
saying.
Mark.
Okay,
I'd
but
call
you
you
wouldn't.
Mark.
But you wouldn't call me he.
No, because no, I mean, I would
Yeah.
call you Mark. You know, if that was something that made you comfortable. But if I saw you,
And if I said my name was Jane, would you then call me Jane?
if that was your legal name, yes.
But you'd only call me by my legal name.
Yeah, I call you by your legal name. I don't have an issue with that. But I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to change what these established pronouns for male and female because you say, I'm Mark and here I am.
So what do you? So I really
That's
wanna
valid.
I'm genuinely curious about this. But first, let me just say, I think that one, this isn't a case of someone thinking there's something that they're not. What people are saying is that there is a misalignment between my sex and my gender. But
Disorder.
No,
That's the point. My mind and my body don't match. That's a disorder.
That doesn't make it a disorder. It just means that the world may be more diverse than we've previously understood it to be, whether we see it in plants.
Leave in the comment section below what you guys think. Like, if your mind and your body doesn't match, is it a disorder? Because we have girls that are born with the drive of wanting to be a man, and then we have men that are born with the drive, Caitlyn Jenner, first example that comes to my mind, that want to become women. So it's like we're born with a certain type of DNA, but our minds operate through the thinkings of the opposite sex. Is that a disorder?
Whether we see it in animals, there's all kinds of complexity, and we look in history. I mean, even we go back to the continent of Africa, we look in Asia. There's all kinds of examples of people who have complicated gender performances and complicated understandings of gender, and how we perform gender can be different. But I guess my question for you would be, why, if someone identifies as, particularly in someone who you engage with, say it's a colleague at work or whomever, a family member, whomever, if they say, look, I prefer to be called she and her, and I no longer want to be identified by this name, why not just honor that?
That's
If
two
you change
different
your name,
things.
I will honor it.
But
It's a
why
name,
not? I mean,
bro.
I'm sure you call people by nicknames and all. I'm sure you grew up in a black neighborhood, right? People, I know you know somebody named Peanut, right?
Yeah.
Right. You don't say, well, that's not your legal name. Your mama named Joe. I'm gonna call you Joe.
No, I'm saying if a name is one thing, but if you're asking me
Yeah.
to change pronouns, I'm not going to do that because these are established pronouns. You're asking me to now change the English language. Right?
Like, he's trying to compare pronouns to a name, and that's not what she's saying, bro. Stop trying to be slick. You know what she's saying. She's saying, I'm not willing to conform to the sex in which you want me to identify you as. That has nothing to do with your name. I don't like, you know how many men that I know are named Ashley, and people convince me that's a unisexual name? I'm like, okay, I'm still going to call you Ashley. But the moment you start telling me that you're a woman, that's completely different from you telling me that your name is Ashley. I have no problem calling you that. But the moment you want me to identify a man as an opposite sex, because that's what you believe, we're going to bump heads.
Right? We know why we call female, she, her, girl, woman. Okay, these are words that have meanings. These are words that have meaning. So this is a book, right? So could you call this is a book and this is a mug? Could you call this a book and call this a mug? Yes, you could do that if you want to change it. But words have meanings, right? So now if I switch it and you say, well, this mug wants to be called a book, it's a mug. Just a mug. This is the word we've established for mugs. This is the word we established for books.
She gets
so
a
you're
point for
asking
that.
me to change the actual meaning of words to accommodate you. I'm not going to do that.
No,
now,
that's not the
I'm not going
request,
to do
though.
that. It is because not only is it a request, you can now get in trouble in certain
I'm
states
saying that's not
for
people's
misgendering someone.
The request of the trans community is not that I'm actually a man, but I want you to pretend I'm a woman. The argument of the trans community, which I agree with, is no, I am a woman. And so I want you to revert me.
But you're not a woman. So that's the problem. So this is what I say is now you've asked me to take on your mental disorder, right? So I am okay with the fact the argument from my uncle who thinks he's a Native American from a certain tribe is that this is what he thinks. He thinks, but he's not. Okay, so I'm not. Then to say to me that argument is valid because he thinks it. No, just because you think something doesn't make it real. Okay,
but that's exactly what gender is. Gender is exactly about an experience and a performance and a social construct.
It's not a social construct. Stop saying a social construct. To say that words don't have meaning and
Genders are social constructs. Genders, my IQ, genders are social constructs, ladies and gentlemen. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? There's only men and women. That's not something that's made up by the society. What other sexes do we see walking around here?
and they're socially constructed means nothing. And I'll tell you
Well,
why.
They are.
But you say that, but then let me guess.
This wasn't always a book.
Okay,
this
so
could
then
be called mug.
So
It
then,
just happens not
you know
to
what
be.
it is? Our entire discussion about Black America meant nothing. There's no such thing as racial injustice. See what I did there? Because black is a social construct.
Yeah, but we live in a social reality. So within that social reality,
It can't be both, Mark. So you either
Sure it
think
can
that
be.
the gender wage gap is BS, that feminism is wrong, and that racial disparities are all BS because everything's a social construct. You're either going to go full postmodernist and say nothing is real and it's all made up, or you're going to acknowledge that there are some hard, concrete truths. If there are hard, concrete truths, you and I
can't
are
ride
black.
the fence.
Okay, that's not going to change because
Can't ride the
we
fence.
wake up and we decide, you know what, today I'm white and it's just how I feel, and today I'm Chinese. No. You and I are black. Okay, we are acknowledged as black people. We're seen down as black people. I am a woman. You are a man. Okay. Now, if I want to wake up tomorrow and say I'm a man, you want to say you're a woman, and we want to play the crazy game, we can do that. To then say all of society now is to pretend that it was all a social. No, it was a social contract. You were born a male. I was born a female.
yes, that's a sex.
We are black.
She's up 100 points right now. Yo, she's up 100 points right now. I got to see what he has to say.
Okay, it's a color though. Black is it's a word that we use to
So-
say a sex. Female is a word that we use that has a meaning.
Yeah,
it means
se-
you are born with a vagina. You can have children. You have a uterus. When you are a male, you are born with a penis. You can get a woman pregnant. These words have real meanings. We cannot suddenly get into society where there are no truths.
So to acknowledge a social construct does not mean that we ignore biology, and it doesn't mean that we don't have.
Can men get pregnant?
Depends.
Yo, I'm out. I'm out, bro. Like this is the craziest thing, right? You would assume these are just like this man is an intelligent man behind his causes and everything that he's trying to push. She just asked, "Can men get pregnant?" and he said it depends. Now, is he worth the explanation when he says that? Like, that's wild, bro. That's wild as hell.
I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman. Only one sex can get
That's
pregnant.
a circular argument. That's
It's not a
begging the
circular
question.
argument.
Yeah.
It's proving my thing. There is a truth, a concrete truth. You have to be born with a uterus to have a baby. Only women can get pregnant. The fact that we've arrived in a society where
Right, and
this
that's
is
the
even
part I'm disagreeing
debatable.
with. That's the part I'm disagreeing
There's
with.
nothing to disagree with it. These are facts. So you can say that this person who is pregnant identifies as a man. That person was born a woman. I can tell you that every single time because only women can have sex because there are concrete truths about life.
Have babies.
Can have babies, pardon. And that is a hard truth about life. You cannot make that go away because you want to call a man, somebody who has a beard and dresses like a dude, a woman. Only if it's pregnant, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a woman.
So I give you. Let's go back to the social construct thing because then it'll answer.
It's the fact that he has the Harriet Tubman sweater and he's talking this bullshit. Like, oh God, bro. Oh man, like, I don't even engage in these kind of conversations, but I just thought the debate was really interesting. This is what we got going on. Like this, like, when are we ever gonna get on the same page as a nation, bro? Like, this man trying to convince us that it depends on like men could get pregnant, but it depends. Like, I've seen trans men have children. My head hurt.
Answer the thing you just said. I'm not ignoring what you just said. I want to tie it together. So the idea of my point was that a social construct doesn't ignore physical realities, right? The social construct is about how we as a society make sense of those physical realities, right? So, for example, you said we're black, sure, right?
Sure.
I'm trying to think of you pick a light-skinned black person, right? They're black, right? We'd agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to the Dominican Republic. Let's go to the PR. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Let's go to Jordan.
That's a nice set.
Let's go to Iraq. Let's go to Sudan. Let's go to Ghana, right?
Set look like they're in the White House, bro. That's a clean set for a dumbass conversation. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
And let's go to South Africa. I'm picking these places very specifically because they have different racial logics and racial paradigms. And what it means to be black here, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a universal blackness, right? That in Dominican there might be 5 different other racial categories, right? And there are some light-skinned black folk here who, when they go to Ghana, get basically seen as white, right? Because of how we socially construct it. Doesn't mean my biology changed. Doesn't mean my physical reality changed. But how society engages this stuff is what makes it a social construct. So similarly, when it comes, so I'm not ignoring the realities of race. So with race and racism in America, and then I'm gonna take it back to the gender thing. When it comes to race and racism in America, it's, yes, biologically we're all the same, right? Black people, white people, there's an infinitesimal difference between a black person and a white person in terms of our genetics, right? This is superficial stuff. But that's a biological reality, right? It's a biological fact, right? Just like as biologically true as me being born with a penis, right? But the truth is, but the idea that there's social meanings attached to that blackness that make people fear me, or that make people think that that person's life is worth more because they're white or whatever. Those are social meanings that are arbitrary and different. So to acknowledge social constructs doesn't mean you ignore biological realities.
But you just did that when you said that men could give birth.
So similarly, what I'm saying is that I'm not denying the biological reality of maleness, of the genitalia where it's signed at birth and what we can do with those body parts. I'm not denying that. That's a biological reality. Again, the social meaning I'm attaching to it is what I'm saying is more complicated.
But it's not complicated. Can men give birth?
Sometimes. That's my answer. Yes.
Yo, what is going on, bro? What is going on? That this is what we have on television right now, bro. Like he just went around the block and said all this filler just to come narrowing down on the dumbest statement of the entire soliloquy. Can men have children? Man said sometimes, bro, because he's not willing, because of the social status should not be mixed in with the binary status of what you physically are genetically. So yeah, you're born a man, but the social construct should not be applied to what a man is. So meaning today's day and age, men can have kids, is what he's essentially trying to say. This is nuts. This is nuts, yo. But carry on.
The answer that is crazy, and this is we cannot. It's just crazy. We cannot allow this to happen.
But you wouldn't say the definition of being a woman is the ability to give birth.
And I'm not saying it, but only women can give birth is a factually true statement. Only women can give birth. There's only one type of human being
only
that
people
can
with
give
uteruses
birth.
and vaginas
Yes,
and
can
stuff
give
can
birth.
give birth.
Only women can give birth.
I'm not
cannot
disagreeing
give
with that.
birth.
I'm not, and that here's what I think we're talking past each other. What I'm saying is, I'm not disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities.
He's trying to be slick.
What I'm disagreeing with
dumb.
is the idea that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman in society.
Okay, but it is now come to a point where if you say that only women can give birth, you are called a bigot. That is crazy. That's nuts. So if you say, like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate, okay? Can men get their period? Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
Some can.
Okay.
Yo, bro.
Trans men. There's some trans men.
Yo, bro. This dude is. Yo, I want this nigga in my corner if I need someone to vouch for me. If I need someone to vouch for me, I need this man in my corner. Like, what is this man? This man really believes the shit that he's saying. And it's with a straight face, bro. Wow.
And again, I think it's okay to ask interesting questions. I think it's okay to have intellectual debates. But I don't
This
think
isn't one of them.
I ever want to enter a space where we deny the humanity. And I'm not saying you are, but to deny the humanity or the experiences of other people.
Like I said, I was totally okay with trans until it became a demand. What you are denying is my ability to be an intelligent human being, right? You're denying my ability to talk about science and biology in a meaningful way. You are now making your existence is actually infringing on mine. Okay.
How so?
And because when you make it a requirement now that I have to pretend that men can give birth and men can menstruate and there needs to be tampons as the ACLU is fighting for in male restrooms, and if I don't see the reason, the importance of that, then I'm a bigot. I'm someone that doesn't accept. No. I accept you if you want to run around and you want to wear a dress and you want to call yourself Tiffany and you want to put a
you won't
pillow
call me
in
Tiffany.
If you want, I don't need to know your name. It doesn't mean anything to me. If you want to call, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe your name is Tiffany. You know, if a person comes up to me and they're in a dress and a skirt and they say my name's Tiffany, okay, cool, Tiffany, cool, right? But when it becomes Candace is a bigot because she won't acknowledge that, you know, Tiffany the man got her period and can have a baby, I'm not playing that game. I will never. So
tomorrow, I'll come on your show tomorrow, and I have decided that, or a year.
She's
from now,
up, bro.
Suddenly, I have reimagined my identity, and I have recognized and affirmed my identity as a trans woman, and I no longer want to identify as Mark. I want to identify, as to use your example, as Tiffany. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be like, this book says Mark, you're Mark. You'd call me Tiffany.
I'd call you Tiffany, but I'm not going to call you she and her because that has real meaning, and I'm not going to play the game.
What's compromised by that is what I'm trying to understand.
My reality. You're now saying you've transformed your reality, and now I have to pretend that words have no meanings, and they do have meanings, right? So
my problem is, why is he acting like he doesn't understand where she's coming from? Because before this whole trans community conversation, this was everybody's way of thinking. This was everybody's way of thinking. If you were a man or male, you were he. If you were female or woman, you were she. It's been like this since the beginning of time. Why is he acting so confused that that is her stance? This is what I'm trying to say, bro. Like, I'm confused, bro. I'm confused, and it's like, am I wrong for agreeing 1,000% with her? Because I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's like the more he speaks, the lower my IQ gets. What the, yo, bro?
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call you here. Hi, Tiff. How you doing, Tiff? Did you have a good day, Tiff? Great, Tiff. I'm not going to then say she. I'm not doing that. And if people cannot, if people the demand.
But you won't misgender me either.
What? I'll just call you Tiffany.
But and if they say where'd Tiffany go, you're not gonna be like he just left. You'll say she just left.
I'll probably slip up once or twice. But
I'm not talking about
Tiffany
mistakes, but I'm
left.
saying you wouldn't intentionally misgender me.
No, I wouldn't intentionally misgender you, but I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom. I don't want Tiffany
but
in
you also
my
don't
spaces.
want tampons in the other bathroom.
Right?
That's what I don't get.
No, I don't care. I don't care. I think it's stupid. I think it's foolish. I think it's dumb. But if that's really where guys want to go, do it. I don't care. It's not my business. It doesn't impact me. I don't have to go in the bathroom. But I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom.
And you okay? Are you okay with gender neutral bathrooms?
That's how most bathrooms are. That's all. Go on the plane. They're all gender neutral.
No, I got you. But
Yeah,
I'm saying
bathroom, fine.
But I'm
Cool.
saying
Yes. Like I love that counter. Stop trying to act like shit is different now. Gender neutral bathrooms, them shits has been around. We just didn't call them anything. They were just one bathroom stall, one toilet, and people would take turns using them. And occasionally, if you go into a restaurant or a gym, right? There's a men's locker room and a women's locker room. It's separated, segregated, whatever you want to say. But to ask if you're okay with gender neutral bathrooms, like, what are we talking about here? Like, is that the direction that we're heading? Like, now before I use the bathroom, I got to make sure it's gender neutral. Man, I wish I might, bro. I wish I might.
A specific one, like in public spaces, like restaurants.
Yeah, I hate that they say gender neutral because usually they just say bathroom. Like you don't need to say gender neutral.
Just saying
it says
that.
bathroom, and we all understood that. That just seems to be an extra step of virtue signaling to say gender neutral. You just put bathroom. Everyone knows what that means.
No, but a lot of times in places, like for example, in our university, we have male bathrooms, we have female bathrooms, and then we have gender neutral bathrooms.
You can just put bathroom. Everyone knows what it means. You put WC, everyone knows what it means. It means anybody can go here. That's always been that way since the beginning of time. And then suddenly the trans lobby wanted to say gender neutral, and suddenly we had to put gender neutral.
That's so fascinating because I find it actually be the right in this case, and I'm not.
Planes, do they say gender neutral?
I'm with you.
Bathroom?
I'm with you. I mean, grandmom's house.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, right? I mean, no one called it gender. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I often find that it's the anti-trans community that's like, oh my God, a gender neutral bathroom.
Because it's the
God made bathroom for man, bathroom for woman.
No,
I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, they've always been just bathrooms. Usually at small places, just bathrooms. It's fine, but like I can't stand the preamble to the Constitution. Any person can go here. We don't care whether you. Just shut up.
I think that's a good thing. I think
it's just annoying. It's just the constant virtue signaling. Just shut up. Just put
it's
bathroom.
it's about affirming people's identity.
You don't need your identity affirmed on a bathroom sign. If you need that,
you do if you've been denied access.
It just says bathroom.
Yo, bro. If transgender people are trying to fight for this, I'm getting stressed, bro. Like we have real shit going on, and this so happens to become a topic of discussion, where now we're trying to recreate bathrooms, and it's right, it's complete virtual signaling, because it's like, all right, we get it, we accept you guys, but now you're trying to change everything as if it changes anything. Because of what? Why do you need a transgender bathroom? They're just bathrooms. Like when I walk into a bathroom, I don't ever say, oh my God, it doesn't say man on it, so I'm not going to step in, or I'm going to get offended because it doesn't say men. A men's bathroom. No, it says bathroom on the door. I'm walking in. Usually it's one stall or one toilet and a sink. But now all of a sudden people are getting offended because a bathroom isn't labeled a certain way? Bro.
That's privilege.
It's not privilege.
That's cisgender privilege. It really is.
Oh my God.
It is.
Stop.
Yo, who is this man?
Cisgender privilege. It's just a bathroom.
All words are made up.
I mean, it's just a bathroom.
It's a necessary word.
It's like,
no, but what I'm saying is, if you've been constantly denied access to something, affirming that you can come here matters, because there's a long history of trans people.
Just right bathroom.
Right, and I'm saying, just right bathroom historically has still excluded people who are visibly gender nonconforming. If you go throughout history, you know how many people are kicked out of restaurants and not even allowed to sit in the restaurant, much less use the bathroom, because their gender doesn't seem to line up with what society's expectations. And so saying you can come here too is a sign of saying we welcome you. It's just like when you see like an ally sign or a rainbow flag on a restaurant. it's not saying that anyone who doesn't have one means gay people can't come in, but the point is because places have been so hostile, affirming that you can come in
Nothing
matters.
annoys me more than that crap. I mean, I tell you, nothing annoys me more than seeing that crap everywhere all the time. It's just, you gotta have the Black Lives Matter flag, the LGBT flag, the this sign. It's like, dude, since when are people not allowed to just buy furniture? I don't need you to have 18 different signs. Like, I just want to walk into the furniture store. It's not
Because
everything.
people aren't welcome.
Not
Would you be okay if they're American flag? Would you be mad at an American flag?
Can you help me? When were gay people in America not allowed to buy furniture? You're gonna have to help me out with that.
It's not specific to furniture, but gay people.
No, I'm saying, like, it's every store now. It's every store. They
Right,
have to put a flag.
There is a historical narrative.
When were gay people not allowed to go into McDonald's?
As long as there have been McDonald's. And public, and this isn't specific to McDonald's.
Cap.
I'm saying that in terms of public accommodations, people who identify as gender nonconforming. We can talk about gay, lesbian, bisexual. But I'm talking specifically right now about trans folk. Yes, they're often denied access to public spaces like restaurants, like furniture stores, like hospitals, etc. And part of the reason, and again, there's plenty of that on this, is that when they're in public space, they're often criminalized. They're often seen as sex workers. They're often seen as doing something illicit, even if they're just walking down the street. So the reason you see an overrepresentation of trans women, for example, being stopped and searched and frisked or apprehended or questioned even when they've done nothing, or presumed to be doing sex work just because they're on a corner, like literally they could be crossing the street, is because there's an expectation of who and what they are, a social construct. And so, yes, to say, look, you can come here, we want you here, we won't be judged here, this is a safe haven here, is entirely reasonable. If I had a university, to use your argument earlier, and I think it's okay for a university on the website to say, hey, we value diversity of opinion. We want conservatives too, right? Now you might say, well, why do I need to say that? Conservatives should be allowed anywhere. But you would say universities are hostile spaces to conservatives. So if I wanted to signal to conservatives that they were welcome here too, I would have to go above and beyond to say that, because they're typically not. And so I would, by your argument, and so I'm saying similarly, if a place is denying access historically, a country, to queer folk or to trans folk, then I'm saying, yeah, we got to do something extra to say that.
Maybe we should come up with a flag for conservative people. I
think it's red, white, and blue. It has like 50 stars.
Oh, just America? That's it? We'll take it. Everyone start putting American flags so we know that it's safe for conservatives to go in.
Maybe it's the Confederate one. Maybe it's the Confederate one. I don't know.
I mean, whatever. I will wrap this by saying I think this was a very important discussion.
Yeah, this is fun.
I think there needs to be more of this. We don't have to agree.
Fun.
But we cannot be scared to have the conversation. People benefit from seeing different perspectives. In the Black community, we are not all a monolith. I disagree with Mark on virtually everything he has said here. But
you don't know what that does for me and my fans. Thank you.
But I will defend his right to say it. To the death of me. I think we need more diversity of thought and more diversity of opinion, and I deeply respect you for coming onto the show and saying what you believe on and sticking by your guns.
It's kind of like my take on the whole Andrew Tate situation with him being banned. At the end of the day, freedom of speech is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should all be entitled to say our shit, no matter how crazy and dumb our opinions sound. Our opinions are always an opinion. You know what I mean? But this conversation blew my mind, bro. And you are going to find people that watch this video and say to themselves, like, yo, I'm willing to accept. Like, listen, bro, what you do with your own personal business is none of mine. If you want to be a trans this, trans that, cool, do your thing. But just don't put it up on me. Don't try to conform me into thinking the way you think as if that's my reality. Because my reality, I believe in men and women and this, that, and the third. It's not that I don't believe in whatever you got going on. It's just too complicated. And that's how a lot of people feel. Whether you're black, white, tall, or small, I'm not going to make this a race thing. But the conversation in which he tried to imply that men are capable of having children and that, like, being a male and a woman is a social construct. Yeah, you missed me with that, bro. But nonetheless, I thought it was an interesting conversation. Please let me know what side of the fence you stand on when it comes to this video and this discussion. I thought Candace was up like 1,000. It was like 1,002. The man made about 2 good points, but other than that, missed me. We don't care about the bathrooms. If you out here changing the orientation of your sex because you want your own kind of bathroom, or you want your bathroom to recognize you as being a trans, that's a war I want no part of, bro. That's none of my business, quite frankly. But nonetheless, what is my business are my supporters and the people that subscribe to my channel, because I love you guys. It's your boy Gabos. This is Gabos Reacts, and we'll be back real soon. Till then, Mamba out.